Hi, Bo here from High Tech Investment, and welcome back to the channel where it is time for another robot battle. This time around, we are actually taking 5 of our EAs over the past 3 months, meaning also Q3 of 2025. We take them up against each other, and that is pretty much what we normally always do, both to find the best ones, but also trying to find the weak ones, the ones that we need to work on to make sure they actually get better, the one with the lowest profits or highest drawdowns, and then we try and balance them out. So again, our profits on the entire portfolio actually creates a bit more profit overall. Now, if you have been on the High Tech Investment website before, you have maybe already noted that a lot of this data is actually free and available for you. We have simply just bunched it up from that particular website here too. So you can go and check all the data that we have in here. Our news reports, we come out with one every single week, and we are showing you also profits from the individual EAs every single week and every single month. But now it is time to go back 3 months, and we're going to do that here today with the Hedge EA. We're going to do it with the Wave Liberator and also the RSI Liberator. All three have been in this particular test before. And then we have the Lucky Trader. And of course, we now also have the Simple Grid Trader that we had to leave out last time because we didn't manage to do a full 6 months. And that's why this time around, it is very important. We have it in here. We have tested this now for more than 3 months, and all the results are together. Now, we did a video not too long ago, a couple of months back, where we basically took the 4 of them minus the Simple Grid Trader. As I mentioned here just before, we did a 6 months test with these, so you could see exactly how they did month by month. And then we summed all the numbers up for the first half of 2025. The results was in, and if you haven't seen this particular video here before, then I'll make sure that there's a link in the video description below. But this time around, we're going to mix it up again. And one of the important parts here is that we went into the summer vacation, meaning July and August, and the numbers were not looking very good for any of the robots. They were actually quite low compared to what we normally see. Only starting in September, we actually saw some of the profits shooting back up again. So does that leave a mix compared to the last video we have? Well, you're going to have to watch the video all the way to the end to see the results. Now we have some rules in here, as same rules as we used on the last video. So that means this time around, instead of 4, we now have 5 EAs up against each other. We're going to measure it over the 3 months profit. So basically from July to September 2025, we are measuring on balance. And then from each portfolio that we have in here of all the EAs, because some portfolios consist of 16 EAs, other ones 20. And then we have, like the RSI and the Wave Liberator, we have 22. So the idea is to take the 8 best performing EAs in here, put them up against each other, and that's what you're going to see here today. Now, some of the ones that you will see earlier on also comes in for the copy link service. That means that once you are done with this particular video in here, you will see some numbers, you will see some links, and you can go straight to Expert Forex copy link service, find the links in here, and then set up your own portfolio once you have done your own due diligence on exactly how you want to spread the future Forex investments for yourself and your trading setup. So let's get into it. Let's see who's going to win the third quarter of 2025. So we are testing the Wave Liberator. So for the first 3 months, and the Excel looks like this. Under this particular section here, we have number 1 to 8, basically which ones are the best, and all the way down to number 8. Then we have the Wave Liberator, and then the individual currency pairs that we are trading. We have the links. So this is either the link for the copy link service. You can find more details and information there. And these are also the FX Blue links. So if you go on the High Tech Investment website, you'll see them here. Or they are the account number, meaning that they are basically not on the copy link service yet. Then we have the individual months from July, August, and September, the total sum that they have accumulated. And this is actually based on a $1,000 account, even though the Wave Liberator, the original accounts was set up to $10,000. So we have basically made the reduction, and versus $1,000, you will have the percentage over here, how well they've done. At the bottom, you have the total sum for the 8 for each individual month, and also converted into $1,000 accounts. So you can see the percentage, and then on the total sum, you'll see how much actually provided. And then at the same time, also the percentage that they were able to make over 3 months. So we see the US Japanese, and I know a lot of people, they don't want to basically trade the Japanese one, but the way we do it is we are measuring the extent of every single trend, and then we build our grid from here. And you can see that has worked quite well for the US Japanese. And this is link 155C. We had pretty much almost on average 115 on average per month, and that actually provided 35%. So this is the top one for the Wave Liberator, and then it goes all the way back down here to the Great British Pound, Swiss francs. Comes in also $144 or 14.45% for that particular time. So a total sum of just over 20%. So that's roughly an average of about 6.5. So definitely below where we are normally. But as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, then these particular months, July and August, has been very difficult. You can see on the summary here that we made 600 in July, then it dropped all the way down in August, and then started to come back up again in September. And this pretty much shows what we saw on most of the EAs. The next one we're going to do is the RSI Liberator. And again, the same setup in here. You can see the US Japanese also in here is actually on top, made 238, so just slightly less, and 23.83% overall. That comes all the way down to the US Canadian, which is at the lower part of the top 8 in here. And that made about $50 on average, or 5%, so 15.37. So again, there is a nice, good little span in here. We can see the same setup that for July we made 598. Then we had quite a bit of a drop in August down to 338. Only 4% from those items. So it was really, really low. And then again, September starting to move back up to the same level as we had in July. So that means 7.45. And overall, those 8 in here actually made $1,531 or 19.15%. Again, good average, not where we wanted to be, but the good part is that these EAs are actually cashing in no matter what. The Hedge EA we did quite well on the last video. We can see that that one here is quite weak for the last 3 months. Here it's dominated by the Great British Pound, Swiss francs, and it's also the only copy link we have in here. And that is again because Expert Forex actually changed the copy link service. They didn't want to have these $10,000 accounts where we actually traded like them were 1,000. So the only thing we can do here in the future is actually try and set these up again on $1,000 accounts. However, we made 20% over the 3 months on the best one, $204. And then it dropped pretty much down to half with the Euro AUD in here. And we made about 35 on average every single month. So not the best at all, and only 10% or 10.5% over 3 months. If we have a look at the total sum, we can see again 380. So the month of July was good. Also here, August dropped to disastrous 3.5%. Still, it's money in the bank. So we are quite happy with that. September rose and was even better than July. So it has had a bit of a comeback, even though it has been basically riddled with a lot of drawdowns over time. Total sum for these 8 in here over the 3 months, $1,108, 13.85%. So it's definitely not bad. We are cashing in every single month, but it's on the low side. The lucky trader that did extremely well last time, also in here, we don't have all of them on the linking service. So you'll have to excuse us until we put all of these on $1,000 accounts, otherwise they won't come on. But here we have the Euro USD at the top, and that has done quite well, over 10% on average. You can see 31.2 over the 3 months, so that's slightly over the 10%. Total sum of 311, so very good, very strong. And at the bottom, we find here at 11.81% the New Zealand Swiss francs. It is cashing in, and it did $118 over those 3 months. If we also have it here, we can see that the lucky trader for the month of July did 416. In August, it actually kept up, where you saw all the ones dropping down, 434, so that's good. And then September is actually cashing in quite nicely with 626. And again, that means $1,476, 18.46%. So it is up there, but it's definitely not in the overall top. The last one we have is a simple grid trader. And again, same format. You can see a lot of them are on the linking service already. We have a couple of signals we haven't managed. These ones are already $1,000 accounts, so it's just a matter of getting them approved from Expert Forex. The top one we have in here is the Euro New Zealand, so that's linked 253C, and that has done extremely well with over $100 every single month. And on average, it looks like we did 39.93, so about 13% on a monthly average. Great, $399. So really, really good numbers. We can see that even the Great British Pounds New Zealand, the link 254C, even though it had a bit of a losing month in the month of July, that is the special nature of the simple grid trader. When it has the sum it needs, it'll cut down all the open trades and close them off, and that means that we made some good profits the month before, and then unfortunately here we had to close it down. It starts at 0 again, but that also limits the drawdown at the end of the day. Also here 39%, but the bottom here is quite high on the number 8, the Euro Swiss francs linked 250C. That cashed in quite nicely, one time over 100, so that's good to see. 175, 17%. And then overall for the month of July, 600 or 7.5%. August, we actually saw an improvement. So all the other ones either stayed similar to what you had with the lucky trader, or they dropped for the month of August. Here they did quite well. And in September, it was actually slightly lower than what we saw in August. So that means overall it cashed in for the 8 for the 3 months. So 8 EAs, 3 months, 2,025.27%. That is the overall from these EAs. So the summary is the simple grid trader was actually doing the best job in Q3. So we can see the month of July, August, and September, we weren't below 600 at any given time. So the total sum also ended up just over 2,000 with an overall percentage of 25. And then the Wave Liberator came in. Now, last time the Wave Liberator and also here the RSI Liberator, they were in the bottom of the test. This time around, even though they had a drop in August, both of them compared to July, then they did enough in September to basically claim second and third place in here with 20 and 19%. And then the lucky trader slid all the way down to fourth position in here, only 400 for the month of July, August, and then coming back in September, simply too late, only 1,475 or just over 18 and almost 0.5% in here. Hedge EA, very disappointing. So again, it has been riddled with some of the drawdown. That also means it couldn't cash in very well, and that certainly hit it in the month of August. But overall, if you take all 5 in here, that means that the 5 different EAs times 8, so we have 40 accounts set up, did 2,605 or 6.5%. We can see it dropped overall here to 2,228 with 5.5%. And then September, things are coming back to life, 2,959, 7.4%. And overall, if all these, you would have traded those together with us at the time, then you would have made $7,794 or 19.49%. And that shows again that all the EAs are doing extremely well. Now all you have to do is pick the best ones, put them in your portfolio. So very well done by the simple grid trader. We are a bit surprised that it actually ran off for the first place and that it actually also just put a bit of distance itself, that one, and number two with about 25%. That was quite a bit of a margin. Last time things were very tight between all the four that we tested here. So it looks like the simple grid trader has been able to stand out, even though we have been in a trending market. So ever since pretty much in April, especially on the US currency pairs in here. And then on top of that, we had all the custom issues coming out of US that then spread to around the world. But we are cashing in. As you can see, our EAs, our robots are doing quite well. But we have also continues to manage them through all these turmoil that we have seen in the past 6 months. That means a bit less profit, but it also means that you can sleep at night. And that is definitely very, very important. Because don't forget, you and you alone are responsible for your own Forex trading. These are our numbers, and obviously they cannot be reproduced in the same way. This is simply just a guide and a bit of information on how actually our portfolios, our EAs are running. And from there on, you need to do your own research. You need to do your own due diligence because you are responsible for your own setups. Nobody else can basically take that away from you. But hopefully also, once you have done that, once you have done your due diligence, checked exactly the profits that you can make from some of these EAs versus the drawdown you have in here, then you should have a great portfolio and start enjoying a bit of money coming in over time. But as always, be careful, be aware, and make sure that you don't use any money that you need for your day-to-day life with you and the family. So I hope that this has been another video tutorial showing you exactly which EAs are working, which are not, because we are all the time getting a lot of questions about which is our best EA. But as you can see here versus the last video we did, it seems to vary in different types of the Forex market because it never stands still. And that's also why you yourself need to go and have a look, do something similar to what we do here, measure the EAs up against each other. And then from there on, then you can switch around to make sure that you have the best EAs for the best market. So if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, and I would also like to have a comment for you. Maybe you have already linked up to some of the links that you have seen in the video today, or you might consider that in the future. So until then, I'll see you on one of my other videos. Bye-bye.